UFC 285. So we had like the Bo Nickel fight on there. Grasso beating Svechnikov. Or I'm sorry, Shevchenko. My bad. I always mispronounce it. Anyway, and then you had obviously the Jon Jones and Cyril Gahn. Let's start off with the Bo Nickel one, right? First round submission. First of all, I think everybody knew it was coming, right? But in that fashion was really impressive. I mean, he was minus money to submit it in the first round. Like,
Yeah.
everybody, Vegas knew it was coming. You knew it was coming. Everybody threw money on Bo Nickel submission first round, right? But his ability to outmaneuver, out-strategy, out-leverage any opponent he faces, it's wildly impressive. Like, it's really good. And he's probably an all-timer in terms of one of the best wrestlers that the UFC will see. That was his first actual UFC fight. He's only 4 total fights into his professional career. And I think it's already safe to say he's probably going to be one of the best grapplers, wrestlers of all time. But I think to be an absolute all-timer, somebody who sets themselves apart in terms of anybody, anytime, any place, doesn't really matter the weight class, as long as it's within one of your comfortable range, he'll beat you. Like a Jon Jones type. Where it's like, hey, I'll miss 3 years of doing coke and come back, move up a weight class, submit somebody in the first round. I think in order to be able to do that, you have to be able to strike. And I'm not saying Bo can't. We just don't know yet. Right? He hasn't been put in a big spot yet, to where he has to stand and bang with the really, really good strikers. I think and that's a credit to his wrestling, because he hasn't put himself in a spot to do that, right? Like, for example, Khabib was an all-time grappler. But, I mean, he'll knock you out if that's what it took. Like, he could strike with the best of them. He'll stand and bang with Conor if he needed to. Now, granted, that wasn't. If he had to do 5 rounds on his feet with Conor, he's going to lose that fight. But for stretches, absolutely he could go punch for punch with Conor. Absolutely in his prime, for sure. Like 100%. So that's what Bo, I think, needs to continue to improve on. And again, we'll see if he even has a fight where that's what the fight dictates. But I do worry if the fight does dictate, hey, we got to stay on our feet for a little bit. See how it goes. Second fight that was crazy. That Rachmanov versus Jeff Neal fight. First of all, Jeff Neal missed weight, so it wasn't really for much, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But Rachmanov did impress me. I think he had a great chin. Jeff Neal was throwing. I mean, he was throwing.
And he was taking him, too.
But Rachmanov had a great chin on him. He was able to take the hit, distance himself. It was very, he's not Jon Jones, but it was very Jon Jones-like, right? Jon will get rocked every now and then. But with the long arms and the reach advantage that he has in most of his fights, he'll just get distance on you right away. It's like one quick shot, he'll get distance on you. Next thing you know, you're right back to square one. Same thing with Rachmanov there. But I will say, his stamina, I feel like he got tired and a little bit lazy towards the end, which is fine. Granted, I'd be tired like 30 seconds in, so I'm not saying I'd be any better. But it is something to look at, and if he wants to actually contend. Next thing, though. Valentina Shevchenko getting submitted by somebody that's known for their boxing is just bananas. That was the craziest. That was the biggest shock, easily. I mean, Valentina was a minus 1,500 favorite, I think.
Yeah. It was insane.
I mean, Grasso, the girl that she fought, she was like, she's a boxer. Like, she is known for her boxing. Right? I mean, pick a champ anywhere. Let's go Alex Pereira, right? One of the best strikers, right? Just knocked out Izzy. When was that? Like 3-4 months ago. Fights Izzy soon, actually. What if a wrestler, grappler guy came in and picked Alex apart on his feet, striking? You'd be like, what's going on? Well, what if a grappler outstruck the best striker? You'd be like, and then at the end he finished off with a KO. Really? That'd be wild. That's exactly what happened with Grasso and Shevchenko. So that was crazy. Finally, Jon Bones Jones. He's absolutely back. He's absolutely better than ever. People are saying, oh, is he still going to have the motors? Is he still going to have the pliability? He's gained weight. He's still going to have the speed, the quickness. I think that Jon Jones has lived with an eternal fire burning in his ass. Just all day, every day since his suspension. I really do. I think he's pissed he missed out on 3 years of his prime. I think he's coming back with a vengeance, too. I mean, the look on Cyril Gahn's face tells you everything you need to know. Cyril Gahn stood in there, went the distance with Francis Ngannou, who has cinder blocks for hands. Just weapons attached to his arm. He went the distance with him. Lost by decision, but he went the distance with him. He looked stunned and in awe of what Jon Jones did to him. I mean, the technicality behind Jon's approach, it's like no other. I mean, Jon is meticulous. I mean, you can find footage of him explaining these little nuances of every little thing that he does, from the walkout all the way through the fight. I mean, the man, so set the stage. Just came back after 3 years, your first fight, you're going to walk out, dap up your brothers, kiss your wife. Shit, he almost forgot to put the Vaseline on his freaking face.
Yeah, he tried to get in the ring.
He was trying to get right into the ring. I will tell you right now, it's all part of the plan. All of it was done on purpose. 100% to get into the head of his opponent. Now, I know they weren't on their feet much, but he still maintains distance better than everybody. He still maintained great octagon control for the first, minute that they were on their feet. Great octagon control. I mean, the dude got kicked in the nuts and still controlled the octagon. Let's be real. I mean, and he's got this quality. He's got like a really nice third and fourth gear where he's able to beat pretty much anybody, but every now and then he needs like a fifth and sixth gear. Every now and then, and it's right there for him when he needs it. I was rewatching some old fights. Lyoto Machida beats his ass for a round and a half. Like he is controlling the fight. Great counter strikes. He's rocked Jon with a couple. Didn't matter. Jon got him on the ground because he's got great takedown ability. Got him on the ground through one elbow. Gets a nice right hand in there. Gets Machida to his feet. Boom. Puts him to sleep with a triangle choke on his feet. It's unbelievable. It's unlike anything I've ever seen. I cannot wait. Francis Ngannou was talking all that shit. Nice job, Jon. Congratulations from the real heavyweight king. You're the one that backed. He was the one that backed out of the fight. Francis backed out of the fight. Right? Like, Francis was the heavyweight champion of the world. If Jon wanted a title fight, that's who he had to fight.
Yeah.
Did you notice who wasn't in the ring?
Francis.
He's not even in the UFC anymore because he didn't want to fight Jon Jones. It's interesting. I cannot wait for his next fight. He is 100% the best fighter of all time. I don't even think it's a debate.
He is so good. And to be fair, he didn't need the Vaseline. He didn't.
No, he didn't. Did he get rocked once?
He did not get punched once. He got kicked in the nuts, and then he submitted him 20 seconds later.
It was one of the most impressive performances I've seen.
I couldn't believe it. It was one of... I think the UFC 285 as a whole was best of the last 2-3 years. I mean, the matchups.
That might be saying a lot.
The matchups,
certainly,
man.
It was up there.
Every single fight. There were
yeah.
wars. There were some that were just over in an instant.
Yeah.
They just blew your mind. And all leading up to that Jon Bones walkout.
That was pretty good.
That was about as hype as it could get.
It was pretty good.
The UFC is slowly but surely, actually not even that slowly. That sport is growing.
It's awesome.
And we're going to try to touch on it more.
It's exhilarating.
We have some more news coming out about the show just in general and the podcast that you guys will probably like if you like this rant. But let's get into some NFL quarterbacks now, what we do